The ultimate guide to conduction, ULTRAKILL guide. Okay, so that's a lot of damage.
Okay, so what the fuck?
Yes. How far are we? We are on act... I don't remember how far we are. So yes, there we go. So the last guide we watched was the apparently basic coin mechanics. So we're not very far in the game, I think. Like we did the Titanic. We finished at the Leviathan. That was the last thing we did. We fought the Leviathan. Now I remember now. That was the last thing we did. We fought the Leviathan. And we're gonna continue from there. We even found a bug. A secret tech to get a secret. Like it was just bugged, but let's continue. Let's continue here. Yeah, yes, I got that. Conduction guide. I still need to learn coins properly.
Today we're going to talk about Conduction, the most normal, least broken mechanic in ULTRAKILL.
Second stage is
In
cool.
the right hands, it can clear entire waves of enemies, deal heaps of damage to bigger targets, and finally answer the question, what would ULTRAKILL look like running on a Nokia brick? There's a lot of nuance to how Conduction works, how it can be triggered, and how the electricity can be manipulated to maximize the carnage. So let's start with a simple definition and extrapolate it from there. So, what is Conduction? Well, Conduction is an effect that occurs when a conductive enemy is hit with an electric shock, causing electricity to arc between grounded enemies and other conductive objects.
So,
look, I am 5 drafts into the script, and this is the most concise and all-encompassing definition I could come up with.
That's the concise version. Okay. What was the second stage of Leviathan? It's just the Leviathan, and you're on his like it's curling up, and you're basically on the body of the Leviathan. It was really cool. It was a really cool fight. It wasn't difficult. I think it was the only fight that I could do first try. But it looked cool as hell. But yeah, conduction, like electricity conducts, makes sense. So
let's start by breaking this down so we can grasp the basics of Conduction. What do I mean by conductive enemy?
What is that?
Well, Conduction can only proc on enemies with either nails or magnets embedded in them, making them conductive.
Nails or magnets?
Shocking a non-conductive enemy simply won't do anything, except deal the flat damage of the shock.
Okay.
Next, the electric shock. There are 3 ways that you can shock an enemy. You can zap them with the Jumpstart cable.
Yes, we tried that last time. Yep.
Shoot them with the electric Railcannon. Or have them get hit by a Ferryman's lightning attacks. Each of these have their own nuances that we'll break down a bit later. Finally, the arc. Upon proccing Conduction, any grounded enemy or other conductive object nearby will chain lightning between each other, dealing damage in the process. It's important to note that flying enemies like drones, virtues, and mind flayers won't get hit by any chain lightning from conducting. So, that's the basics.
Good
now
to
let's get into the nitty-gritty.
Because they're not grounded, they're not going to conduct, the electricity is not going to... Okay. Chapter 1, Railcannon. Alright, let's see this. This video, by the way, is from 6 months ago, so it might not take into consideration the latest update.
Let's start with the electric Railcannon, as it is the simplest way to proc Conduction. Simply just shoot a conductive enemy with a Railcannon, and that's it. Tutorial over.
Thank you. Very informative.
No, okay, but really though. A big advantage of the Railcannon is its speed, as you can whip this thing out very fast with minimal setup. The Jumpstart has a hefty 5-second wind-up time, and the Ferryman requires some precise positioning. All the Railcannon needs is a conductive target. You can also integrate Conduction with all of your usual Railcannon tech by simply sticking a few nails or magnets into whatever you are already going to hit. Ultra Rico shots, rail coining, RCPs, they all get a little bit more spice when you toss in some Conduction. Now, something cool about the Railcannon is that it pierces enemies, meaning you can hit multiple conductive targets and proc Conductor several times at once. This is a particularly great edge guarding strategy, since enemies like to group up at the edge of the arena. Just cover them with nails and fire.
Yes. Okay, so this is how you can interact with the... Okay. Chapter 2, Jumpstart. Okay, this is going to be a bit more complex, because the Jumpstart is... Okay.
Next, I want to talk about the Jumpstart. It's fairly simple on paper. You attach a cable to an enemy with the alt fire, stay within 20 meters of said enemy while the cable charges up, and after 5 seconds, zap. This 5 seconds gives us a lot of time to maximize our conduction damage, as the damage scales with how many nails and magnets are embedded in an enemy.
We just
Now,
did an
I could do a
audiobook.
deep dive into the exact damage numbers of
feel the
nails
pain.
and magnets and how they're calculated, and I will, stay tuned, but for the purposes of this section, all we need to know is that more nails equals more damage.
Yes.
This damage caps at 6, with 90 nails embedded in an enemy.
Okay, so question. The nails would be the left click of this gun. It wouldn't have to be the right click of the first nail gun, right? Like, it was just what you shoot at them is just the nails. That's just what you got, right? That's it. There's not much else in terms of that. I believe. I hope. Anyway, let's continue.
So, what's the fastest way to stick 90 nails in an enemy? Well, luckily for us, the Jumpstart has us covered. While we're cabled to an enemy, the Jumpstart's primary fire is increased by 50%, firing about 25 nails per second.
Nice.
Since the bonus nail damage caps at 90 nails, firing the Jumpstart for around 3.5 seconds will cap the damage.
Okay.
Alternatively, we can hit the cap even faster by using a technique known as overheat storage. When you fire the overheat nail gun's alt fire, it will shoot a burst of 56 nails for 1 second, and
56.
consume one of these overheat charges, which go on cooldown once consumed.
Now it has 3 in the newest
However,
update.
the charge is only consumed if the full volley is fired, and you can cancel the volley by switching weapons.
Doesn't mean
Then
it would be
consider
very
how
good.
firing
Okay.
a single shot from the attractor will fully charge the overheat burst.
Thank you for answering. Right.
Putting all that together, you can fire an overheat burst, swap to the attractor, shoot once, swap back to the overheat, and repeat indefinitely.
Well then.
Now the Jumpstart cable takes 5 seconds to fully charge up before proccing,
Yes.
and in ULTRAKILL terms that may as well be 5 years.
Yes, it's a
Luckily
very
for
long
us,
time.
we can actually saw that charge time down by using, well, saws. Each saw that hits a cabled enemy will cut the charge time down by 1 second per saw. So firing 4 or 5 saws
don't have
into a
the saw
cabled
gun yet
enemy will
now.
trigger the Jumpstart much faster than usual.
Okay.
It's for this reason that I like to have my attractor set to the saw blade launcher, so that when performing overheat storage, I can cut the charge time down and conduct much faster. This is great for dealing with
that's
tankier targets that we can't
incredibly
easily
good,
burst
yeah,
down, like
it's
Source
not nail
Machines,
gun.
Gutter Bros, and notably hideous masses
Okay,
who
I'm
are
getting
almost
it.
one shot from this technique.
Damn,
There's an
okay.
even easier way to trigger the Jumpstart early. Kill!
Oh, it's a secret, okay.
If the cabled
Okay.
enemy dies, it will still conduct. A simple strategy to
Yes.
use here is to simply whiplash a fodder enemy to you, shoot the Jumpstart cable and a few nails into it, and then kill. You can kill the enemy any way you want, but my preferred method is to knuckle blast them into the ground. If they hit the ground and die before the cable snaps, it will conduct where they land, allowing you to launch an enemy like an electric grenade.
Ooh,
It also
that's
works
cool.
well on enemies with quick kills, notably the malicious phase as it dies to 1 overheat volley.
Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna be real, this is too much work. If only there was someone
Okay.
around here who could conduct for me.
Oh,
hey.
Chapter 3, Ferryman. Okay. So yeah, something I've noticed about this game, because I'm still fairly new at the game, like we're still on my first playthrough. The game has a tendency of introducing a boss that is eventually just another enemy. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. That is a lot of fun. I find it a lot of fun. Twitch, please stop crashing on me. Please, Twitch, please, behave.
The Ferryman is our third way of proccing conduction, as any
Yes.
conductive enemy hit by a Ferryman's lightning will conduct.
Yes, yeah.
Now, in my first draft of the script, I'd originally written this off as too niche and finicky to be used reliably, but then I sat down and messed around with it for a bit, and
Yeah.
I gotta say, this shit kinda slaps.
It's not just FPS games. Like, I know that Path of Exile has done it. So, yeah, it's insane. But look at that.
The Ferryman actually has 3 lightning attacks. The first and most obvious is the lightning that the Ferryman calls down in battle, marked by a
Yes.
white line stretching into the sky.
Yes.
This attack can actually be charge-backed, and when you do, it will conduct any enemy that it hits. The chargeback is actually pretty simple. You simply wait for the sound cue of the lightning charging up and position yourself in the beam. Now, the beam tracks V1, but it's not very fast, so I recommend holding your horizontal velocity before attempting to charge back, as if you're moving too fast, you'll miss it. The best ways to do this are to either slam or jump off a rocket mid-ride, as both methods will set your horizontal velocity to 0.
Excuse me, jump off a rocket? That you can do that. You can... Okay. Okay, that's a thing as well. I didn't know. Now I do.
Then, once you're in position, wait for the blue flash and toss a coin directly up. Then, you're riding the lightning. It should be noted that you don't strictly need to charge back the lightning, so long as a conductive enemy gets hit. It's just that this method deals more damage and is way cooler.
Yeah, I mean, with the, from what I remember, the coins add a damage multiplier, so it makes sense that if you toss a coin... So, logically speaking, if you toss multiple coins at a lightning, then, therefore, it would multiply as well. I don't know. That's just the logic I'm seeing here. So, gonna get the secret. Arcane knowledge entered my brain. Knowledge of rocket ride. Yeah. Oh boy, now I want to watch the rocket riding guide. Maybe. We'll see.
Trigger an electric blast around itself if it's either parried or hit with the Jumpstart cable while it's charging its lightning. Any conductive enemy caught in either of these blasts will conduct, and the keyword there is any enemy, including the Ferryman itself. Nailing or magneting a Ferryman and simply parrying it will turn it into a walking human rights violation.
Oh! So we could have done that when we were parrying him, okay. Good to know, good to know.
Now we know the many ways that we can proc conduction, but conduction doesn't just stop there. I think it's high time that we finally talk about conductibles.
Conductibles. Magnets, rockets, coins, chainsaw, screwdriver, chapter 4.
Magnets, coins, rockets, tethered chainsaws, and the screwdrivers, or conductibles as I refer to them, can all be used to extend the range of a conduction chain, as well as stacking on more damage. The range at which these objects can chain lightning seems to be around 28.5 units. For reference, the radius of a core nuke is around 25 units.
Yeah, from what I've seen, so yeah, as a quick pause for this, from what I've seen, a lot of people, like, this game is Rocket, it reminded me of Rocket League. It's one of those games that it's easy to get into, it's difficult to master, and you don't have to learn everything. It strikes me as this kind of game. Like, we already went through the insanity of the fan base, and I love it. I personally find it hilarious that the dev is as unapologetically owning everything, same as the fan base. But it looks like the type of game that there are so many layers, and you can very quite literally choose how you want to do it. And you can choose how you want to do the game, and that's it. Like, you can choose what you do, what you don't do, what you figure out, what you don't, and there are always ways to do it. In that sense, it's very Dark Souls-esque, like Elden Ring-esque in that aspect. And I'm a Souls veteran. Like, I didn't play Elden Ring as much as I played Dark Souls 3, but it reminds me of that you can really just play this however you want. All this text just for fun. If you want to go further, yeah, no, and it's really cool to see that the option is there. That I am a sucker for that. I am an absolute sucker for options. Like, if I see that the option is there, I don't care if I don't want to go for it. I just love the fact that it's there. So, there you go.
Magnets are fairly simple. You stick them into the ground or into other enemies, and they'll chain lightning if they're in range. You can use magnets to guide the electricity to wherever you want on the battlefield, usually towards more enemies. Yes. Conduction needs line of sight, so you can use magnets to snake the electricity around or over walls. Grounded magnets are usually a set and forget it type move, but if an enemy with a magnet in it is killed or the magnet is destroyed, it will return to V1, so you can redeploy it somewhere much more useful than in your inventory.
Ooh, that's
Magnets
good.
have free HP and will lose 1 HP per conduction hit. However, it will not lose any HP upon the initial proc. Coins behave much the same way, but require a little more attention.
Yes.
You can rapidly toss all 4 coins right after you start conducting, and you can toss them pretty much wherever you'd like. toss them all in one place to focus your damage. Spread them out to spread your damage.
I like it.
Toss them between two magnets so that they can connect. Coins really let you manipulate conduction to fit whatever scenario you find yourself in.
Ooh.
Rockets are like magnets and coins rolled into one.
Yes.
You can use frozen rockets to act like aerial magnets, but just be mindful of guttermen shooting them down.
Excuse me. Hang on. 1 second. Frozen rockets. That's a thing we can do. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Like I like yes. For you, you're probably like very deep into this. You already know these things. I didn't know. This is awesome. Yeah, there it is. There's the frozen rocket. Hell yeah.
You can also shoot a rocket right after conducting and watch as it zaps everything in its path.
Okay.
Gutter tank rockets also conduct, so if you're facing them, freeze their rockets and they'll do half the work for you.
So that's what that right mouse does.
The sawdall's chainsaw will conduct as long as it's tethered. If you're adept at juggling the chainsaw while setting up conduction, this can be used to add on a little extra damage. The screwdriver is weird. It behaves similarly to magnets. Both can be embedded in an enemy, and both will act as lightning rods in levels with natural lightning. However, you cannot proc conduction with just the screwdriver, and unlike magnets, it can only be changed once.
Yeah.
The screwdriver can be airborne and still proc conductor, so you can punch it out of an enemy and it will conduct mid-air, similar to rockets. I'm personally unsure of any practical applications of conducting using the screwdriver, especially considering it consumes a Railcannon charge.
Yeah.
So if anyone has some screwdriver conduction tech they'd like to share in the comments, I'd love to hear it.
I'm pretty sure there are, but...
I've been putting it off for long enough now. I think it's time we finally talk about damage. And I'm not going to sugarcoat this. Things are about to get complicated.
Bring it! Bring it! Bring it! Chapter, I think, 5? Yes, Chapter 5. Maths. Okay. Oh god, help me. Thank god the base damage calculations for this game are so simple. Like, I at first I was so confused as to why, you know, why damage 1 HP, 1 damage, 2 HP, 2 damage, 3 damage. And then I realized you make the baseline extremely simple so that you can go completely bonkers with it. And oh boy, has Hakita done it. Like, now, this is one of the best applications that I've ever seen of less is more. Playing Balatro at some point. I think we have it on the list. Let me just check real quick. Balatro. No, let me check the Wildcard Friday. Balatro. No, let me add it to the Wildcard Friday list. Balatro. There we go. Pending review. Yeah, I've seen really good things about that game, so I definitely want to check it out. We're playing Balatro at some point in terms of damage. Okay, yeah, I've seen really good things about it, but I've only heard of it. I haven't really looked into it too much. Again, I'm me. I have never played anything. I've never seen anything. I've never watched anything. Here's my list. Here's the list of franchises that I have yet to play or finished. We are at 87. I still have to review Persona Titanfall and Dynasty Warriors. We're at 87 so far, and these aren't like obscure franchises. We're talking Witcher 3, Final Fantasy, Mass Effect, Halo, BioShock. These just insanely ones. We do have a Wildcard Friday one, so like ULTRAKILL is in this list. And then we have the other games. I just put Balatro here. I need to review it. So these other games that do need a chance, but they're not the same. Like, oh, how the hell have you not played that game? That kind of thing. So yeah, I do want to, like, I'm catching up to what I missed out for a long time. So hang on, I saw a new chat here. Let me just see. Never seen anything is relatable to I'm the same. Welcome, Lunar Creeper. How you doing? Welcome to today. Let's continue. Let's continue with this damage because this is gonna be
basically each embedded nail deals an extra 0.0666 damage and caps out at a maximum.
I just went on a rant about how genius it is that your lowest damage is 1 just for you to do this. Just for you to do this. Why do you do this to me? I mean, it makes sense that you would deal 6 damage max and it balances things out. Anyway, let's continue.
With 6 damage at 90 nails. Each magnet deals an extra 1 damage and will stack with the extra nail damage. Now the Aftershock has a minimum damage of 2, which means if you deal less than 2 damage, it will always round up to 2.
Okay, good.
So 1 magnet should deal 1 damage, but it'll get rounded up to 2. 2 magnets will deal 2
broken.
damage, 3 magnets will deal 3 damage, etc. Therefore, the normal maximum amount of damage and
a good exploit for this would be to just use 1. Like if you're out of resources, you're back into the corner, you can max with just 1. Full out 100 deals 6.6. Yeah, and that is pretty cool. But quite round of your own lazy. Yeah. Yeah, no, like I don't have a problem with it being. It's the fact that I went on around. Oh, 1 damage, 2 damage, 1 HP, 2 HP for him to just go down beneath that. Like I thought the damage was down to 1, but it makes sense considering the nail gun. It makes sense that you would use decimals like that. So I didn't take that into consideration. So
initial Aftershock can deal is 9 damage. 3 from the 3 magnets and 6 from 90 nails. Each Conductible will add the same amount of damage as the bonus damage from nails or magnets in the conducted enemy. So if you conduct off a 1 magnet enemy, a grounded magnet will add plus 1 damage. Or if you conduct off an enemy with 90 nails, which will deal 6 damage, it will add plus 6.
It would be monstrous,
now,
yeah.
One thing to note is that Conductibles do not consider the minimum 2 damage of the initial Aftershock, and will only add on the true damage added by nails and magnets. Let's look at an example. Here, this Insurrectionist has 1 magnet and 90 nails embedded in it. That's 1 damage from the magnet and plus 6 damage from the nails for a total of 7 damage. Then we factor in the magnet and the 1 coin I toss out. Since the coin and magnet inherit the damage from the nails and magnets, that's plus 7 damage for each, for a total of 21 damage. Seems simple so far?
It's not simple, but I can follow up. Okay, that man, coins are broken. All right, I need to clean my nose, but let's continue.
No? Well, it's about to get a lot more complicated. See, any conductible enemy that gets zapped in a conduction chain will themselves proc conduction, and this is where the maths spirals out of control. In theory, it should be as simple as repeating these calculations every time conduction gets re-triggered, but at some point the minimum damage goes from 2 to 0.5. Some sources claim that this happens on every subsequent proc after the first, others claim that it's time-based.
Looks like a balancing thing.
Things get even weirder, as sometimes there will be an extra ghost zap that has no explainable origin. This setup with 2 Cerberus should have 8 zaps, 1 from each initial conduction proc, and then 3 for each subsequent proc. Yet, conduction procs 9 times here. I really wanted to get to the bottom of this, so I talked to a few conduction experts from the community and even went as far as contacting some wiki editors to find out how they got their information. And unfortunately,
I love that asking the dev is just not an option. Or is he's probably going to bring it up, but I love that it did not occur to him to just... I mean, I understand you can't just ask the dev something like this, or you want to go to the community, but I find it funny, right? Like, you don't ask for something like that. And I understand, like, sometimes devs do want to keep that hush-hush, but...
the unsatisfying conclusion to all this is no one really knows how it works. Well, no one I talk to anyway. I'm sure there'll be some giga genius in the comments with all the answers, so let's give a preemptive thank you to that guy.
No, Hakita knows. Hakita absolutely knows because he programmed it in.
Heck, do any of these numbers really matter when we're in the heat of battle? Not really, no. The important thing is knowing how best to use conduction, and the end result speaks for itself. The best way to look at it is this. Magnets are more effective in enemies than on the ground when we're considering maximum damage, as they'll proc several times each. You want some conductibles like coins and rockets to add on additional damage. Oh, and maximize nails, of course. Putting all that together, here's a setup that deals 70.5 damage. Here, each Sisyphus has a magnet in it, and I stick the maximum amount of nails into the first one. Once I've done that, I lay down a few rockets and toss my coins once the Jumpstart procs.
Damn!
This isn't even the maximum damage. If we fully nail up each Sisyphus and do the same thing, we deal a whopping 153.5 damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Will this ever naturally occur in game? No, probably not.
Likely.
But I think this is a good blueprint on how to think about maximizing our damage output.
Yeah.
That's almost everything, but there's a few miscellaneous details to cover that didn't really fit
Chapter
anywhere else in
6,
the video, so
other
let's
stuff.
rapid fire through a few of those.
Alright.
Water, naturally, is conductive. Using electricity underwater will cause any enemy touching the same body of water to take a minimum of 1 conduction damage.
Yep.
Only enemies will
so
chain lightning underwater, unless one of those enemies is conductive, in which case they'll spread chain lightning to conductibles like usual. V1 will also take 50 hard damage if in the water, but this can be iframed by dashing. If an enemy dies, their corpse will still proc Conductor.
Okay.
This is why the Jumpstart works when you kill an enemy. Enemies that leave behind a physical corpse like the Malicious Face or Gutterman, or enemies with long death animations like the Hideous Mass and Mind Flare can still proc Conductor,
Good
but
to know.
won't chain lightning the same way other Conductibles do.
Makes
The
sense.
lightning in levels 5-2 and 5-4 will proc Conductor the same way Ferryman lightning does. Sticking a magnet or the screwdriver in an enemy will call down the wrath of Zeus. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how Conduction works. Now, all this messing around in the sandbox and doing all these calculations is fun, but what's most important is actual implementation into normal gameplay. Now, I've been collecting heaps of Cybergrind clips of various Conduction setups done in real time.
Oh, he's gonna show off now.
So let's analyze a few of them so I can explain my thought process into how I go about setting these up.
Okay. Chapter 7, Clip Analysis. Okay.
Let's start simple. In this clip, I set down some magnets and I magnet a Maurice who I then cable with the Jumpstart. I fire some nails and the Maurice dies and the Jumpstart procs. Then I toss 4 coins to rain electricity down on the field.
Okay.
In this clip, I see lots of enemies spawn near the edge of the arena, so I cover them with nails using the overheat and position myself to pierce several of them with the Railcannon, tossing coins to increase my coverage and clear the wave.
Ooh, look at the amount of... That's insane,
Here, I tried to do a simple Jumpstart proc, but I whiffed all my coins into the wall. Well, no matter. I see a Ferryman targeting me, so I pivot to covering this Gutterman in nails, and then I charge back the Ferryman.
Okay.
Here, I cable to this Gutterman and then proceed to cover nearby enemies with nails. Then, once the Gutterman dies and the Jumpstart procs, I shoot the Railcannon, piercing several conductive enemies for a Giga proc.
Nice.
I do a similar move in this clip where I move around the arena covering several enemies with nails, and then I pierce as many as I can with the Railcannon, taking out every grounded enemy in the wave.
Nice.
Here, I magnet this hideous mass and perform a rail coin to take it out and proc Conduction. Then I shoot a rocket to guide the electricity over to this side of the arena. Okay, this one is one of my favorites. I start by jump-starting this Maurice, and then after it dies, a Ferryman strikes and procs Conductor again. And then, to round it off, I cover the remaining enemies in nails and Railcannon them for a third proc. All 3 procs in one clip.
Nice.
Okay, this last one isn't a Cybergrind clip, but more of a funny proof of concept. If you juggle magnets as they get destroyed in a conduction chain, you can actually set up an infinite combo. Not really useful in normal play, but still pretty funny.
Yeah. Theoretical.
And that is the ultimate guide to Conduction. I hope you enjoyed, and more importantly, I hope you learned something. Conduction as a mechanic is pretty under-discussed outside of high-level gameplay, mainly due to how confusing it is, so I hope this video, if nothing else, made things a little less confusing.
It really
might allow you to start implementing Conduction into your own gameplay. This video was an absolute doozy, and I couldn't have done it without help, so I want to give out a few shoutouts.
Alright.
First, I want to shout out Cody Goober from my Discord. He drew the amazing thumbnail for this video and the cute little Visquip microwave skybox you can see in my Cybergrind gameplay. He's a very talented artist and you should definitely check him out. Next, I want to shout out Twitter user 746.
He has nothing to do with Blue Goober, right? I assume he has nothing to do with Blue Goober. Because if he does, then I found that funny. Because we did Blue Goober on the Jam and Shreds. Like we played along one of his tracks.
7 Shove. They were one of the first pioneers of conduction tech after the rework came out with the full Arsenal update. A lot of the stuff in this video I probably learned from their posts.
Before the latest update.
He also helped giving a bit of insight into the inner workings of conduction and the best ways to test it out. Finally, I want to shout out Yako Craptime from the ULTRAKILL Discord. They're like the conduction expert, and they helped me out with parts of the script and gave me a lot of insight into how the damage is calculated.
Nice.
That's it for me, and I will see you guys next week when this video gets outdated by an update that rolls out, just like what has happened to every guide video I've ever made. Thanks for watching.
There you have it. That was the ultimate guide to Conduction ULTRAKILL guide by Viscit. Yeah, this video came out 6 months ago, before the 2025 update. Still, I think on principle, this is really good, because I don't think much changed in terms of those mechanics. It was me. I don't know how much, what much else changed with the mechanics, but this was incredible, dude. It was such a good watch, because I was very confused at the start, especially like these videos are so well made. I am not somebody who is very experienced in this game yet. Like, we've barely just killed the Leviathan for the first time. I got less than 50 hours in the game, that kind of thing, right? And I'm having a blast with this game whenever we play it. But oh boy, there's so many complexities to this game. It's insane. It's really, really good, and this video has helped me understand really, really well. It's very well explained. Very well into detail. The math part, it wasn't as complicated as I was expecting it to be, but then again, that could just be the fact that I have music brain, and music brain and math is just a very different thing. So overall, brilliant video. I really enjoyed it, and I am going to enjoy the playing and trying this out, because this does look really fun. It looks overpowered as hell to an extent, but it looks like it takes a lot of practice, like everything is on this game. So there you have it. Good video. Good stuff, dude. GG.